Hello everybody, Mr. Pilgrim here, coming at you with a brand new video in our Platinum Trophy Guide for Code Vein. In the last video, we'd gone through the next two areas and fought the next two bosses available, unlocking some new blood codes and gathering as much things as we could along the way, as well as weapons, blood veils, and things of that nature. Along the way, we got a new companion, Mia, who if you really want to, I believe you can have her join you, but I'm going to stick with Lewis for now until we get the one true companion that I will swap him out for in this video, which will be probably towards the very end of it. Now, the first thing that you want to do probably from here is come over to Yakumo, and he will finally give you his blood code, Atlas. This one will probably be the main one that you use if you're going for the same build that I'm going for, and that is the heavy two-handed type stuff. As you'll see, you'll get an overall basic attack. You'll lose a little bit of health and stamina and your weight limit, but your overall strength scaling will go up from a to an A+, as well as some of your other things. The only thing you lose out on stat-wise is a little bit of fortitude, but that's okay. Then from here, of course, you always want to make sure that you go and buy whatever skills that you need or acquire gifts. Basically, the main one is the two-handed sword mastery. Now, in order to get that, of course, you will have to come over and view the memory from Io, and that will also get you Yakumo's memory as well. So that will get you that trophy. And then from here, we're actually going to finally head back to the park right before the butterfly boss fight. So I'll see you once you're there. One small thing though is whenever you are back at home base and you have the chance, anybody that you haven't been giving items to trade for, I would highly recommend doing that. At least giving them 3 items or so. And I basically just
one of those things, a revenant. Just I've attended.
Blood bead candy or tea or something like that.
I'm happy to receive.
As long as you don't get something bad, as you'll see just from those 3 items, I got 8 trading points with him. Basically, just everybody that you can give an exchange with, just kind of see how
when I first became a rep,
the trade goes, depending, of course.
Let me know if you need me.
But the reason why you're doing this is simply because of the presents. Now, do note that this can go into New Game Plus for things like that, so don't worry about getting all of them. So, yeah.
Okay.
But basically, one of the trophies is to receive, I believe, 30 presents or so from people when exchanging.
I've got serious. Die-hard fan. It was a anyway.
But basically, just giving things every now and then when you can will go a long way. The garlic flakes really makes a difference in Io, as you'll see. She likes candy and sweet things. As you probably already know, Louis likes tea and comics. Yakumo likes the blood bead candy, cameras, and sake. Everybody has their thing that they like, but they have general things that are okay with. If you haven't given or traded anything to anybody, then you should eventually get that trophy for building a level of trust with them. It's the first trophy. But once you give so many presents or exchange items with people, eventually when you are at a missile, you will see the present section in the bottom. If the game will load any faster. As you'll see right here, every now and then you'll get a present from somebody. So the more you do it, the more often you're probably going to get those items. So now we can actually teleport to the park ruins missile. So I'll see you there. Alright, so from here, as you can see on the mini-map, there's actually some people you can talk to in the area, and they will give you side quests. This will incentivize you to come back and do those. they'll basically just have you go around the map and either collect things or fight enemies, things of that nature. But from here, we're going to continue on the main story path. This next area is pretty much going to make up the entirety of this video. So from here, if you interact with the statue, it'll cause the ladder to descend. I'm not entirely sure how that works or how it's connected, considering the ladder looks like it has no connection to it. But you'll finally reach this tree and there'll be a cutscene. Of course, me being me, always going to skip for the sake of preserving the story for you guys, in case you want to experience it. But from here, we'll have this path that we'll go through.
Closer. This is all thanks to you. I'm in your debt.
Now, there's only two things that you'll find along the path, and it'll be after you climb up a ladder. So don't worry along the way. It is get a little, the frames are getting choppy. But from here, you'll just follow this path like all the other main story paths. And as you'll see, you'll have this ladder here.
We can go up here.
Now from here, if you actually just turn around and come back here,
On my way.
you will find another map for the depths.
Very
Now do note the depths are actually related to a trophy and you will actually have to fully complete them. So if at any point in time you want to stop what you're doing and go do that, you can. Go try out a new blood code, master some abilities and things like that, then by all means. But here we'll reach the Cathedral of the Sacred Blood. Now this is probably
How is this possible?
the most confusing map I've ever had to go through, and I will try my absolute best
Was the
to
earth carved out around the
show you guys how to go through this map, as there is a lot of twists, a lot of turns, a lot of backtracking, and a lot of like falling onto side paths that lead to objectives of the main path, all to eventually lead up at that back cathedral. But so yeah, like always, I'm going to try and go through, clear out the enemies, and show you the path that I take to get to either the next missile or to find some major objectives, of course. So yeah. So from the missile, if you'll follow the path that I take, this will get you all of the items in the first starting area. This will also show you how to get the mapping for the area and any important upgrades along the way. So the first path you want to take is just going straight forward. From here, if you come to the left and then take this first right, you'll be in this room. As you'll see, the enemy respawned. I forgot to clear it. It's okay. But in here, you will find your next upgrade to your overall amount of HP replenished. Do note the enemies in this area can also drop the next upgrade material, Queen Steel. So from there, if you come out and follow this path to this first dead end, you will find some Queen Steel. Like I said, this new area is supposed to be where you start upgrading your weapons to +4, 5, and 6. So if we come back down and actually come here over to the left, we can follow this path. Once again, when you start off, this area is going to be a bunch of dead ends and weird twists and turns. So up here, if you're wondering why I'm not continuing, that is because if you go the normal path, this door is blocked off. So from here, if we head back down, we can now finally head over to the right from the middle section here. Like I said, there's a lot, and it only gets more complicated the further you get into this. So from here you follow this path up inside. As you'll see, that door will also be locked. So then you'll take this first left, and then if you take this next left, it'll lead to a dead end with an item.
Let's find another way.
Then from here, you just continue on the path. As you'll see, the area that we're headed to is just up here. Basically, if you went to the middle path and took a right instead of a left, you'll also end up over here. So don't worry about not ending up in this area. But in here is where you will have your first invasion of the area. I believe it's the only invasion of the area, but you'll get your first ISIS vestige. Now this is tied to one of the endings of the game, so do keep that in mind. But the main path is going to be going out the way we came and just running back. Like I said, this area is very, very annoying to try and remember how to navigate and grab everything.
Pick up something we can use?
You'll get some pungent cheese, and an item you can actually give to a NPC. I don't know who finds it valuable, but they do.
I won't take long.
Up here you can then take this first right, grab this item. The awakes are what you can use to quickly gain abilities from blood codes. Say you learn it and then you want to master it and inherit it. That's what you'll do, is you'll use those, and that will be how you do that. Now from here, this will loop back around to a previous area. In a sense. Now from here, you're supposed to go to the left. However, we're going to be continuing forward. As you'll see, this is that door that I mentioned just a minute ago as why I wasn't going through it. This is how you unlock it. Now if you go and follow the path that I take, this will lead you to your first mapping of the area. There is an enemy on this center disc. Once defeated, they will map the area for you. And then over here on the edge, you can find some anti-venom. So now we can head back the way we came and finally reach the next area. As you'll see, there's going to be a lot of running, a lot of backtracking, a lot of going up and down, a lot of stairs, ladders, multiple levels. Like I said, this is probably going to be the whole video, is just in this area. So from here, you're now going to take this right and follow this path around. From here, you'll basically go down this ladder here. And then what you'll do is you'll actually drop down one more time. If your camera can get blocked, then it's easy to not see these little side areas, but you'll pick up some Queen Steel. That should be enough to get your weapon to a +4 if you haven't already.
It's open.
In this chest, you'll find the Rubelite Piercer +4. As you'll see, the game is now giving us +4 weapons. If you drop down here, you'll find your next mapping of the area.
On my way.
You'll simply head inside. You'll head up into here, and here you'll unlock a shortcut back to one of the previous areas. So then what you'll do is from here, as you'll see, you can come this way and you'll find your next chest.
What do we have here?
This will give us the Impulse Anchor +4. Anybody who's a hammer player, there you go. Right here, what you'll do is you'll simply drop it down to the right. As you'll see, find a Curious Novelty. And then up here to the right is the next missile. Like I said, a lot of navigating. You'll also gain mapping. And while we're at it, we will grab this item. Some more Queen Steel, because who doesn't like that? So now we're going to be heading out from here. And yeah. Alright, so to get to the next missile from here, you basically can't go anywhere, but you can drop down
Where
here,
are we exactly?
pick up
That's
this
quite
item,
valuable. Let's use it well.
follow the path around, and this will lead you up to a hidden little lever right above where we just were.
I won't take long.
So from here you'll activate the lever, grab this item, can drop down, and now you can go to the left path. In here it's pretty straightforward. You'll follow the staircase. Over here you can grab this item. Some more queen steel for whatever weapon you're trying to fully upgrade. In here you just follow this path. As you'll see, it's one of those areas to where once again you simply just drop down, and then you don't have to drop down again because you'll just die. You simply just turn around in here. As you'll see, you'll now be able to open up this next door, which will be another shortcut. So coming back out here, you once again have another ledge to drop down onto.
That was well
Get
hidden.
some queen steel. In here you will find the next
Take good care of
ISIS
it.
vestige. Do note that this is related to getting one of the endings of the game, which I will go into more detail once it is towards the latter half of
On my
the
way.
video. You'll understand. Trust me, it'll make more sense when I explain it whenever the time comes. But anyways, you can follow these ladders all the way up. And you can just run across the rooftops.
Let's try to
As
find
you'll
some
see, we are
landmarks.
so close, but yet still so far away. But following this path basically leads us right to where we want to go.
Sorry, I'm on my way.
We'll have another item to grab,
Pick up something we can
a
use.
classic camera, and we'll have our next missile. Now do note, if you have been buying and getting all of the gifts that you can that don't automatically come with owning a blood code, as you'll see I have been trying to buy as many as possible, this should easily get you the trophy for the inheritor of gifts. So that is another thing. Now another thing is also in regards to inheriting so many gifts, as I believe you have to inherit almost all of them, or at least close to all of them. I believe it's 150 or so gifts to inherit. It's quite a lot, but then again there are 32, I believe, blood codes that you can acquire, so do keep that in mind. But now we can move on to the next area. Yay. So if you follow the path that I take from the missile, you'll get more items, more things, and of course you'll be on your way to the next objective. From here you're just going to take a right. You'll follow this staircase all the way down.
On my way.
And down here, to get your first item, is going to be here on the left. There's going to be a tough enemy in here who can buff his weapon and use lightning. When you defeat him, he will drop the next item, the Regen Activation Factor, another permanent upgrade to your overall healing. Then from there, you can follow the path that I take, and we'll now go the right path. In here, in the back, you can find a item hidden in these boxes,
Wait.
a Mark of Honor. Now do note you will eventually need to grind 400 of those, but the game likes to give you one here for free. I'll go into detail that now. So if you hit your options, you can see your medals, and you'll see the reward list. You basically just need to get the medals. You don't need to turn these into anybody or anything like that, but as you'll see, you need to reach level 30. Now normally this used to be an online thing, but luckily they've added ways to do that offline now, so you can farm them offline, which is really nice, which I will probably go into more detail later on in the game, as once we reach a certain level, farming those will probably be 1,000 times easier. But moving on, you'll now be able to come out here, swing around this main path. No items to collect just yet. As you'll see, pretty straight path.
I won't take long.
From here, you'll take this left. The door on our right will be locked, so don't worry about that. Grab our next item here on the left. Some queen steel. Like I said, now they're going to be giving you all of the upgrades and materials and things like that you'll need.
Sorry, I'm on my way.
From here, you basically have a couple places to go. First and foremost, we're just going to go straight. Follow this path around and get it out of the way. For the most part, as you can see, we can come over here into this tower, and if we drop down, we can grab our next form of mapping right here, and then we can grab this item, the mobility enhancer. From here, you can basically climb back up the ladder, we'll head into this room. Now first and foremost, you'll just be coming up the stairs here to grab this item, as you'll need to eventually unlock the way to drop that ladder down. But now we can actually come back the way we came and head up the stairs here. In here on the right will be an item to grab. Some more queen steel, as you can see. You can then follow this path around. Along the way, you can also grab some more items, as you'll see right over here.
That's quite valuable. Let's
Like
use
I
it
said,
well.
the game is really throwing the upgraded materials at you now. They're not even trying to like sprinkle them around. So from here, as you're probably aware, this door
find another
will now
way.
be openable. As you'll see, this will lead back to a previous area right here. But from here, we're actually going to end up dropping down right here,
On my way.
swinging back around, and as you'll see, we'll be back at a previous area. From here, you're just going to come here over to the right, and the main thing that you're supposed to do is you're supposed to drop down, of course. As you'll see, you can't open up this door. So all you'll have to do is you'll just come over here, you'll drop down here, grab this item, and then you can follow this path, continue dropping down, continue forward, and then just, like I said, follow this path around. This will then allow you to open up this door. You can then grab this item right here. Like I said, more queen steel. From here, you'll get your next mapping of the area right here. Grab your next item, some anti-inhibit. Basically, if you have ever been hit enough times by the enemies in this area, you will get inhibit. This stops you from using your Ichor-based abilities. But from here, you'll have this lever that will lower that ladder all the way back, and then this one basically opens up the door. So from here, you basically can go back the way we came. As you'll see right here. As I've said many times, this area really does like to go around and around and around and around. And of course, trying to get back to a previous area is always so much fun. But anyways, now you're just going to maneuver your way back to that ladder. So from here, you're just going to follow the path that we had taken before. And as you'll see, we'll be at the ladder. Because originally this ladder is all the way up, and it can be quite confusing if you don't know about dropping down and things like that. But the path from here is pretty straightforward, and as you'll see, you'll be at the next
It's been a long trip.
missile.
Let's rest. We'll be safe here.
Once again, there's only one straightforward path from here, so we're gonna take that. Alright, so from here, you're basically just going to want to follow the path that I take. You'll drop down right here, turn around, and follow this path forward.
I'm on my way.
Pretty simple. Nothing too crazy about it. We'll come up the stairs. Now you have this path that you can take right here, which can't be opened just yet, but there is an enemy on there. Now you can go this way right here. You'll have this lever which will open up the door right below us. Then from here, if you actually go back, climb up the ladder, this will lead us to that other area. As I'm pretty sure you're aware, grab this item right here, drop down. You'll just follow this path down slowly but surely, as you'll see.
On my way.
Get rid of any enemies in our way. You'll follow this up right here, as you'll see, and then you can come outside, and then you'll be able to enter the area. As you'll see, you'll also get your next mapping right here. You'll then have this lever which will open up the door right below us, so then you can drop down right here, come inside, grab some more queen steel. Then if you really want to, you can open up this door right here and head down below. So from here, the non-essential stuff is to our right and to our left. There's areas you can drop down below, as you'll see with enemies. There's nothing too important on those areas, and you'll just end up back where we are now. But if we actually come, if I remember correctly, okay, so if you come over here, you can drop down on this side, take a little bit of damage. You can avoid it, but you can then come into here, follow this path up.
On my way.
And this path will basically just lead around. as you'll see, like so. There are some areas and things that you can drop down onto, as you'll see, like right below me. But for right now, you're basically just going to come down. Don't remember anything in there. Here, you'll have this lever to open up that door, and then trying to entirely remember as I can see that there is more ladders. You'll drop down right here, come around the side.
Wanna head up?
Before heading back up, you'll then want to activate this lever. That'll open up that door right there. And then, if you want to defeat this enemy, do be careful not to fall down, and then kick this ladder. That'll save you some time and trouble. But then we can come back. And up here we can grab an item.
It's quite valuable. Let's use it well.
So from here we're just going to go down. We are also going to go back for the mapping, of course. From here, you will then have this lever to open up this door. As you'll see, it all just kind of loops back around on itself. So then you can come over here, drop down here, drop down here again. I probably could have taken one of the shortcuts. But that's okay. But as you'll see, once you get familiar with how the area is structured, it becomes really easy to navigate it. You then get more familiar with things. As you'll see, you'll find your next missile right here. You'll then find a chest with a Night Thorn +4. And then if you really want to, you can drop down right here. Like so. I'm now actually going to head back to the missile. So if you want to, you can use a Vivifier, as it is a pretty straightforward run now that we've unlocked all of the doors to the boss fight. So from the missile, you'll just run straight. Like I said, you should have all of these doors open now. There are probably at least 4 enemies along the path that you might have to fight. But as you'll see, you'll be back in this room here, and then you now can continue along the path. As you'll see right here is the boss of the area.
Don't hold anything.
Argent Wolf Berserker. As you'll see, he likes to basically do 2 attacks every time. So just space out your attacks, and you should be fine. But just like that, he will go down. First try, of course, for us. But from here, you can then head down and we will reach our next missile. As you'll see right here. So from here, we're going to have the first half of this next area, as this area is also going to be a bit annoying and confusing at the same time. That chest you'll have to eventually come back for. This area will also have 2 doors that you can't access just yet, as you'll have to eventually get keys and then backtrack to these doors. So remembering where they are is also going to be important. But the first thing that you'll do is you'll climb all the way up and you'll find a Nagamukuro +4, which is pretty cool. But then you'll just come back down, follow this path forward.
Sorry, I'm on my way.
And in here you'll actually take this ladder down. And in this area, as you'll see, will be your next invasion in the cathedral. This area is kind of tough, so do be careful. But you'll find some pure blood. Now from here we can head back and climb up the ladder. Follow this path around.
I won't take long.
Nothing in there. You'll then drop down this ladder. Follow this path around. And then what you actually want to do is you actually want to head up this ladder. And then up the next one, and this will lead you to a chest guarded by 2 enemies.
What do we have here?
This will get you the shoddy key. This is one of those items that you need. From here, you'll then just drop down, and then you'll finally go down this ladder. If you want to, of course, you can then just drop down again.
On my way.
From here, you'll be able to open up this door no problems, so don't worry about not having a key for it. Back here is where you'll need one of those items, but for now, we're just going to continue through like normal. So from here, you're just going to go down. You'll come into here. As you see, there is once again another stair well that you'll have to go up. In here, as you'll see, there's another set of stairs that you can go up. It's the main path, of course. Don't worry about that item we just seen. You'll come back for it. So you'll go up these stairs, swing around, and then you'll go across, and then you'll basically just drop down onto the item. This will be the next ISIS vestige. Then from here, you'll just head back up, back the way we came.
Sorry, I'm on my way.
And then you'll head back up. Now, getting those vestiges is part of, like I said, one of the endings of the game. So finding all of them and restoring them before fighting the boss is key to getting the good ending. But from here, you'll head to the left. Trying to remember this. I remember now. In here, you'll find an item.
Pick up something we can use?
Some tomato sandwich. But then you'll head in here, and then you'll head up. And then you'll follow this around. There's only one way to go. Or, yeah. One way to go. And that will be dropping down right here. And here you'll find your next mapping. So you follow this up, and then you'll be at your next missile. So from here, you're basically just going to follow the path that I take, and this will allow you to go through the last area of the cathedral. It has been quite a ride, but along the way you'll have this queen still you'll pick up. You can then kick this ladder down for a shortcut, but then you should use that shoddy key that you get right here, and then this will allow you to drop down here. There is a item that you'll drop down onto and find over here off to the right. Now back in this area is another enemy that has mapping. Defeating them will get you the mapping, of course, and then you'll find Isis Vestige Part A. Then from here you can follow the path. It's pretty straightforward, and then eventually loops right back around to where we were before. You'll find your next mapping that you probably would have seen from before. Coming down this ladder actually leads you back to the last missile. As you'll see, you'll find the chest right here, which has the key to that door that I was talking about earlier, the ornate key.
I think we can use that.
So from here, as you'll see, that missile, I'll show you how to get there from here. So all you'll do is you'll just follow the path. Instead of going down, go up. Follow this around. As you'll see, there's that shortcut. You'll drop down here. You'll go down one more time. As you'll see, and then it's over here to where you'll have access to that door. So just follow this path around, and then as you'll see, you'll have access to this door now using the ornate key.
Where are we exactly?
As you'll see, this area doesn't have anything, and you'll basically just be right at a missile.
Just a bit farther.
As you'll see right here.
Good. We found some missile.
Now from here, I highly recommend going back and spending your queen still to upgrade your weapon to +6, and then we'll be taking on the boss. Alright, so once you have come back after upgrading your weapons, like I said, anytime you return back to home base, if you happen to have any presents, by all means go ahead and start giving those to people. I just normally went with the blood bead candy, as most people have a neutral reaction to it, and some people actually enjoy it more than normal. As well as that, being able to talk to Mia will get you the Artemis blood code as well, so make sure you grab that while you can. As well as if you happen to go back and talk to Shang, if you will have some old world materials to trade with him, he will then actually probably be invaded by the Lost. But anyways, from here we can now head to the main path and finally fight the boss. There will be a cutscene, of course, here, which I'm going to skip as always. But now you'll have your choice of what to do for the ending of the game. Now for most of the bosses that I'll talk about here in just a second, there will be an explanation for it in regards to how to get the endings. Alright, so before most of the main bosses that are considered successors, this is the first one in the game you'll come across. You'll have the option to restore their vestiges and memories beforehand, and then this will lead you to a choice of saving them or restoring them in a sense, and that will lead to the multiple endings of the game based on what you do with that. Now, of course, I recommend going for the good ending your first playthrough, as it's basically the choice of 100%ing the game. Now, do note you will have to play the game multiple times to get all of the blood codes, because some of the blood codes are tied to the endings of the game. And so, as you'll see here, you'll have a character similar to Io, but with a different name, and they'll specifically only have the restoring the vestiges for this character in particular, which is Isis. Now do note, when doing this, you will eventually, also after beating the boss, you will get this blood code, so don't worry about not getting the blood code, but for the sake of doing the good ending, I recommend going through and doing all this. So yeah, and then whenever it comes time to show you what I mean by restoring or saving the memories and stuff, I will show that after the boss fight, of course. So yeah. Once you have restored all of the memories, you can then finally interact with and open the gate. Obviously, there's going to be some cutscenes, of course, and things and stuff, and skipping, and always. But now you'll be on to your first successor boss fight. This boss fight is pretty weak, successor of the rib cage. However, the attacks that it does are pretty strong indeed. Once it gets to a certain point, it'll do that fire attack. Of course, it's a double phase fight. Skipping, of course, for obvious reasons. Once again, you'll pretty much have the same kind of attack. But once you've defeated a second time, you'll actually fully defeat it, and you'll get the trophy Successor of the Ribcage. Once again, another cutscene. Of course, I'm going to skip. But now, once you have done that, you will be inside of the actual memory itself. Alright, but once you make it to the bottom of the staircase in the memory, you'll then have another cutscene. You can skip it, of course, you're not going to ruin anything. Now, here's where the main option comes to play, and that is to either restore the memory or just to walk out the door in the back. Now, since we're going for the good ending, of course, we're going to restore the memory. Like I said, these are all related to the endings of the game. Now, there are 3 endings of the game, and then you also have a secret extra true ending of the game, which is tied to Io, which I will talk about here in a minute. But basically, for the first part, or how to get all 3 endings, is you have the good ending, which is to restore all the memories of the successors by getting all of their vestiges and doing it before the fight. You'll then have the second ending, which will be the bad ending, which is to restore none of the memories. You will also get the Isis vestige, or Isis blood code, as I said. And then you'll have the neutral memory, which is to, I guess, restore, I believe, 1 or more of the memories, but not restoring all of them. But from here, you can now head past the boss, as they won't be aggroed anymore. You'll have this door, and then you'll have these steps that you can go down. A long, lengthy process.
Let's head to the source. On my way.
And here you'll have another cutscene. Obviously skipping, of course, for reasons. But then you'll have a item that you can pick up right here. But from here, you can now actually
I intend to keep investigating the source.
head all the way back,
We need to find the successors and prevent them.
and you can get the next trophy, which will be for seeing Io's memory. Now, to get the true ending of the game, you'll need to hold off on restoring all of her memories, of course. There'll be another cutscene, like always. They just like to sprinkle these in throughout major areas. There isn't another boss fight or anything. But from here, you basically just want to head back to home base. So once you are at home base, if you hadn't talked to Mia and gotten her blood code, you can do it now. But if you come over and talk to Io, if it will load. You will then have the option to restore a memory. Now, upon doing so, you will then get the trophy for Io's memory. Now, I recommend only doing this one, this being the only memory of EOS that you do, as they're not called Io's memory, they're called EOS. But just do this first one, and then save the rest until the very end of the game, as I'll go over that, and that is what is related to getting the true ending of the game. But as always, this has been Mr. Pilgrim. I will hopefully see you all in the next video. Like always, I do hope that these are helpful, informative in some way, shape, or form. Now, depending on how long this is, I might split up the memory that you go through after the first boss, and have that be its own video, which will, if that is the case, that will come out right alongside this one, so don't worry about having to wait on that. So yeah, I'll see you all in the next one.